The night of impact under the veil of night, a tense silence hung over the Middle East. Then, with chilling precision, Iran shattered the quiet with a massive and coordinated missile barrage on Israel. Sirens howled through cities like Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Beersheba as residents scrambled for shelter. Explosions lit the skies. This was no ordinary skirmish, this was a declaration, a retaliation, and a message. It marked the largest direct attack Iran has ever launched against Israeli territory. The arsenal unleashed. Iran deployed an unprecedented combination of firepower. Among the weapons used were hypersonic ballistic missiles believed to be from the Fatah series, known for their blistering speeds and evasive capabilities. Iran also launched Ahmad and Qadr medium-range ballistic missiles, notorious for their deep strike capacity. Alongside them were advanced cruise missiles, low-flying and precise. The sheer volume and variety of missiles indicated months of stockpiling, engineering, and military coordination. The goal was not only destruction, but demonstration. Planning and intent. This wasn't a spontaneous retaliation. Iranian leadership had long prepared for this. Following a series of Israeli strikes on Iranian military and nuclear assets, including alleged attacks inside Iranian territory, Tehran's patience had run out. The strike was a signal. Iran could hit back directly, without proxies, with precision and power. Intelligence suggests the operation involved collaboration among Iran's Revolutionary Guard, its aerospace division, and regional allies who monitored Israeli radar and defense readiness. Iran's aim was psychological as much as physical, to undermine the myth of Israeli invincibility. First wave impact. The first wave struck air bases and defense installations in southern and central Israel. Explosions were reported near Dimona, home to Israel's nuclear reactor, though no confirmed hits were recorded there. Ashdod's port saw heavy strikes. Infrastructure crumbled. Fires erupted. Beersheba's medical center was damaged. In Bat Yam, a residential building collapsed after a direct hit, killing several civilians, including children. In Tel Aviv, windows shattered across downtown, and the skyline disappeared behind smoke and ash. Casualties and chaos. The immediate toll was devastating. 24 Israeli civilians and soldiers lost their lives. Dozens were injured, with emergency rooms overwhelmed. Entire neighborhoods were plunged into darkness. Public transit halted, schools suspended. More than 2 million people took refuge in bomb shelters. Israel's high-tech Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow defense systems intercepted many missiles, but not all. Israeli media confirmed that several hypersonic and low-flying missiles evaded interception, a fact that rattled both public and military confidence. Israel's response within hours. Israel's war cabinet convened in a fortified underground bunker. Fighter jets were scrambled. Israel struck Iranian targets in Syria and Iraq. Hours later, deep inside Iran, explosions rocked suspected nuclear and military installations. A missile production site near Isfahan was hit, causing secondary blasts. In Arak, a nuclear facility reported damage to infrastructure. Israel's response was surgical but designed to send a clear message. No attack will go unanswered. Yet, it avoided mass casualties, signaling Israel's intent to avoid full-scale war for now. Civilian lives in the crossfire. In both countries, civilians bore the cost. In Israel, families sifted through rubble. In Iran, emergency crews struggled to contain fires at industrial complexes. Hundreds were injured, many buried under debris. Air raid sirens in Tehran stirred panic. Schools shut down. Hospitals prepared for chemical exposure that never came, but the fear was real. Social media flooded with images of terrified children, destroyed homes, and desperate calls for peace. The human suffering on both sides could not be hidden, even in a tightly controlled media environment. International reaction. The global response was swift. The United States pledged full support for Israel and deployed naval assets to the eastern Mediterranean. The European Union called for immediate de-escalation. Russia and China condemned further conflict but avoided direct blame. Arab nations scrambled to secure airspace and prepare for fallout. Jordan briefly closed its skies. Oil markets trembled. The world watched, holding its breath, as diplomats scrambled behind the scenes to prevent a regional explosion, the shadow of nuclear concern. As Iran's nuclear facilities came under threat, fears of a broader nuclear confrontation surged. Israel has long vowed to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Iran insists its program is peaceful, but after this exchange, the lines blur. Damage to the Arak heavy water reactor raised alarms. Satellite images showed plumes of smoke from Natanz. Both sides traded accusations, but neither confirmed the full extent of the damage. The specter of nuclear escalation, once a distant nightmare, now loomed uncomfortably close. Psychological warfare. This battle wasn't just fought with missiles, it was waged in mines. Iran wanted to prove it could penetrate Israel's defenses. Israel wanted to show it could survive and retaliate. Propaganda, disinformation, cyberattacks, and social media campaigns erupted. Both governments released carefully curated footage of damage and defenses. False alarms rattled cities. Hackers targeted infrastructure. It was war in the physical and digital worlds, a war for perception, control, and global opinion. Voices from the ground. We barely made it to the shelter, said Yael, a Tel Aviv resident. It was the longest night of my life. In Isfahan, Reza watched from his apartment as plumes of smoke rose from the horizon. I don't know what they hit, he said, but it shook my building. These stories, raw, human, unfiltered, tell the deeper truth. Beyond politics and military strategy, this is a human crisis where families are broken and lives forever altered. The road ahead. Neither side has declared war, but neither is backing down. Iran has vowed continued retaliation if provoked. Israel says it will defend itself by any means necessary. Regional powers are bracing for spillover. Proxy groups like Hezbollah and militias in Iraq have been put on alert. The next days are crucial. Diplomacy may still halt the slide, but the gears of war are turning. And if unchecked, the next exchange may not be limited. Conclusion. Fragile lines. Last night was a wake-up call. It shattered the illusion of containment. It showed how fast rhetoric becomes reality, how fragile peace can be. Iran struck Israel with the full force of its missile program. Israel responded with precision and restraint, but the balance is tipping. For the people caught in the crossfire, survival is now a daily calculation. The region stands at the edge, and the world, once again, must decide whether to pull it back or watch it fall.